In this video, we're going to go ahead and take care of the rear as far as the design and mock-up, and actually do the full air suspension install. So stay tuned to see what happens. In this video, we're going to go ahead and take care of the rear as far as the design and mock-up, and actually do the full air suspension install. So stay tuned to see what happens.
Here's a quick tour of what was in here to begin with. We have the KWv3 coilovers. This is a divorced rear spring and shock setup. It does have his rebound control up here. And then right here is his spring that sits on top of the control arm we did from the factory. And of course, he wanted this thing really low. So when they adjusted it to go really low, but unfortunately when he's out on the track and if this wheel goes to lift, this can come loose and it makes a ton of noise when we're trying to drive it. For the rear suspension, we will make an adapter that'll sit down onto this lower nipple section that comes out of the lower control arm, as well as a upper adapter to go inside the body up here to replace out this adjuster unit. And then for the rear, we'll remove out this rear bump stop to allow it to go down lower, and then when he goes to raise it up for his ride height, he'll have a lot of travel in the rear damper. Thankfully, with these KW variant 3s, allows for a ton of travel, so that way when it's all the way down on the ground, he'll still be able to raise up and have a good quality ride at a decent ride height, as well as go extra higher for his loading it on and off the trailers, as well as speed bumps. So we're going to go ahead and drop out the rear shocks in here. We'll remove these 3 bolts, and it's going to allow the shock to drop out the bottom. And same thing over on this side. And then from there, we got to try and figure out where the customer wants us to put the CVT system, because it's a trunk space is pretty tight. So with that top mount removed up here, we're able to actually just reach in and pick out the coil now. I'm going to pull out the isolator too. And that right there is what there's to work with. We have a little nub sticking up here, as well as a nub sticking down up here. So we're going to try to build something to locate off of these 2 units and put the air spring right in the middle of it. All right, a little update for you. When I had the suspension collapsed, the distance between this upper protrusion and the lower protrusion was right at about 2 inches. And that was going to put us with the tires basically right just away from this. Now, seeing as how he already has some rubber on here, since it was from his tires already rubbing in with the springs, and we kept the bump stops in because he's not really trying to go super low with it. So with this, we might have to do some type of custom bag in order to incorporate this unit within the bag itself. So because of this protrusion right here, we're going to have to play around with some ideas to see what we can come up with. All right, we're up here in the office. We're going to go ahead and make a custom bag with the recessed pocket for that lower bracket to go into. Show you what we come up with. Let's get this cap machined out. We've gone ahead and cheated and did a little test cut to make sure everything would fit in the control arm properly. Oh yeah, it looks so nice with that contrast against the black. Time for the test fit of the cap in the control arm. That fits perfect. So here we have the suspension fully bottomed out. And if we check our clearances inside, we've got 2 caps stacked up inside there. With the cap stacked in there, we have a little bit of clearance against that upper spring nipple. So we'll go ahead and make an adapter to go onto that upper spring nipple and bolt onto the other cap of the bag. If you look underneath, the fitting is going to be protruding straight out the bottom hole in the control arm, so we can just run the air line along the upper control arm into the subframe. Got a few quick measurements. We're going to go ahead and do a quick model for a bracket to start with. And then from there, we're going to slowly work it in, taking a little by little off of the bracket so it fits nicely over the nipple. We're going to go ahead and put the bracket in the lathe now to go ahead and put that radius on the top edge of it. And we'll start whittling away at it, see how it fits. We went ahead and put this radius right there on the top part of the bracket and did a slight taper on this inner wall. We're going to go ahead and put a little Dicom on here and test fit in the vehicle and do a little rub and see where it's rubbing at to know what part we have to start taking a little more material off. So let's give it a test fit. very close, has a little bit of wiggle. So we twist it. And we can tell we're rubbing right there. So we have to open up that section of it a little bit. Time to trim it some more. Time for another test fit. Oh, it fits so good. Give a little twist, see where we're rubbing at. Looks like we're making contact right there where we want to. And along on the inside, there's a few spots where it's matching on that taper. That fitment right there is going nowhere. So here's our bracket all finished up. Went ahead and threw on a little chamfer on the side, make it look fancy, and it's ready to go. Let's go get those bags assembled. Go ahead and get these bags assembled up so we can get them mocked into the vehicle. Now, since we went ahead and machined this bottom cap with a new air inlet for our slot to go on the control arm, we need to go ahead and plug off this old port that was in the original caps that we make. So I'm just going to use a regular NPT plug. We'll put a little thread sealant on there and tighten it in. Gone ahead and done a quick leak test. We aired it up through this port that we're going to be using. Spray a little soapy water around this fitting to see if it bubbled. There's no bubbles, so no troubles. Let's go ahead and bolt our bracket on. There's our complete assembly. This goes in the arm, this goes up into the upper body. So there's our mock-up. We got everything in there. The bag fits in there perfectly. We have clearance all the way around the bag against the arm, top and bottom. It does get close around this section, but it is definitely over a finger gap away, so no worries about it rubbing. And then underneath here, we have plenty of access for our fitting. We'll just run the airline from the fitting up the control arm, then up into the body. And then as soon as we put air in the bag, it's going to extend up, so when the suspension's fully hanging, we don't have to worry about it, bag itself falling out. As of right now, when we raise it up, once we get to about this height, the bag starts to unseat. Well, it's still collapsed. Basically the same exact way that this system right here was in there, with the coil just held under the tension of the vehicle. Actually, I have a little bit of a correction here. Once we secure the upper shock mount, the bag will stay fully seated even with no air inside of it, inside the suspension. And for the rear height sensors, kind of eyeballing this area up here, and then run the linkage down, build a little tab off of this existing bolt and come up. That way we can run the linkage right here. Measure it off from the face of the wheel inboard, and we have plenty of space to mount the sensors up here. So we'll keep chugging along. I got my boy Arnold from Icebox Customs here to help out with the air management on this Z4. Air management wise, we're going to be going with the Accuair E-Level system with the CVT tank and then the touchpad control. Since we're running the endo-cvt, we have to hook up the C adapter by hooking these two wires into this main harness. Let's go ahead and get that handled. Now that we have those pins removed, inside the instructions here it shows where we put the red and the green wires into on the plug, as well as the detailed instructions on how to disassemble the plug like we just did. Now Accuair does also include these little plastic pins for the wires that we removed. We just go ahead and slide them into the plug. Actually, we should have done that before we assembled this plug back together. So now with that little prong facing out, we slide it into there. It'll slide and click in place. Same thing on the other one. We take a razor blade and we gently trim off the ends, and then we reassemble the plug, make sure all of our wires are in there straight. Now we got our C adapters successfully hooked up to our main harness.
along with removing out these extra wires that we're not going to be using since we went with the CVT system. Our preferred way to mount sensors is to use rev nuts, which are a tool that'll put a thread inside of a sheet metal structure. You first drill a hole and then slide the insert into it, and then you use a special tool to expand it into that hole, so that way it won't get pulled out. Here's those little rev nuts installed. We did clearance out the undercoating for the rev nut to actually sit all the way against the sheet metal. Now we have nice threaded holes to mount our sensors onto. We went ahead and made this linkage up for the other side. We do have to do a little jog on it to go from the sway bar side to the height sensor side. Thankfully inside here is just a piece of all threads, that way you can bend it to whatever shape that you need to fit your application. Let's go ahead and get them whipped up. That we have our second linkage for the front made up. I find it's best to do the mounting points on the chassis the same on both sides, driver and passenger. So here's our buttoned up air management system. We have the Accuair CVT right here. We do have the two corners coming out here, along with the wire going in to control the valves. And over on this side we have the two lines for the right side, as well as the compressor power and the compressor inlet. As you saw underneath, we went through and tried to tidy up as much as we can on the air management side, but unfortunately with the way that the existing wiring is on this vehicle, I don't want to get too deep into it, because that's going to be a whole nother problem. So down here is our Accuair E-Level controller. This is the brain unit. We have all the wiring coming in from the bottom side. We do have the C adapter here to power the compressor in the tank. Here's the fuse for the ECU, and then there's all of our wiring that we run. We do run the air lines out of the vehicle right here. We do seal up the holes so that way you don't get the water coming in here when you drive it in the rain. And this right here is our compressor air inlet filter. Up for the air management side. Now we just have to finish up the height sensors, and then we can get the car on the ground and do an auto learn. So here we got the height sensor all mounted up. This is with the suspension compressed. We got our bottom mount tied in off of that lower brake mount that you saw we made up. I have this spacer right here. I use it as a quick adjusting nut because it's not a lock nut, so you can thread it on and off real easily. We cut our linkages down, and we've adjusted them to where when we're fully compressed, we're a little bit away from the top, about halfway, and then when we go up, this is how it looks when it cycles. As you can tell here, we're about halfway on the droop travel, and I usually like to go ahead and grab the rotor and pull down to make sure that we don't have any more droop travel available, where if the bushings are binding up, keeping the suspension up, whereas the airbag will force it down even further and break the sensor. A few things worth noting out here is when the suspension's drooped out like this, you can tell we still have an angle in this. If this was to go in line, we do run the risk of this height sensor flipping over the other way, which tends to make them where you'll break off these arms. And then also, while cycling the suspension, I went and was twisting the linkages to make sure that we weren't binding up the little rod ends that are on here. We do have a little bit of an angle outwards, but thankfully these rod ends are able to take some angle, so we don't have to worry about spacing this out or trying to space this top mount in. Okay, a few more tips for you guys when you go to put in your height sensors is this is stainless steel hardware, and you are tightening against a plastic ball inside this rod end, so don't over tighten them. Just go till it's snug to where you don't have any more play where you can't turn it by hand. but not to where you kill it and it's going to swell out that ball inside the rod end. You can tell on this one, there's quite a bit of thread sticking out. You don't want to use power tools on stainless hardware because they tend, when you run them in real fast, they'll heat up and actually gall together and it will seize these two bolts, the bolt and the nut together. I always suggest doing it by hand. It does take quite a bit longer, but at this point it's worth a few extra minutes.
This side's all done too, matching up to the other side. Now we have everything installed, it's time to leak test it. Here's a little tip for you guys. If you fill the tank backwards through the exhaust ports, it'll actually inflate up all your bags as well as fill up the tank to your shop air pressure to give you a nice starting point to start spraying. Now at this point everything is filled up with air, so we go ahead and spray it with some soapy water. We're looking for any bubbles. This side is good. Time to spray this side. Also, there's a small little tiny plug down here that we want to check out too. We got lucky on that one. Just need a little quick snug and a little bit more in it so we can tighten it up and it's sealed up tight. Now it's time to go around and check all the fittings. Would you like to go around, just soak them down real good? Look for any immediate bubbles. And come around and give a nice, good staring at. So we can see that bubbles are collecting on there, but they're not growing. Same thing over here, up front. So with all the leaks taken care of, we're ready to button this thing up and get her on the ground. Got the car off the rack, wheels and tires are on and torqued, ready to go do the auto learn. All right, so for the first thing we want to do is make sure our tank is set to 200 because CVT is always going to run at 200. So we push the program button and it's back right down twice. That'll put it into 200 psi for the tank pressure. And then once it exits that mode, go ahead and hold the dot and the number 2 down. And does its hokey pokey. So right there it's lifting it all the way up. She goes sky high. Waiting for the tank to fill it all the way up to 200. And it starts moving around to see how the car reacts when it's hitting the valves. So the customer originally wanted his ride height to be a little bit lower in the rear to match up with the front. So let's go ahead and adjust the presets for him to be at the exact height he wants. So now that we've went ahead and manually adjusted to the height that he wants, all we do to save it is hold down the number 2 till it turns yellow. Just like that, it's saved. Now, of course, the height that he really cares about is raised up height, so we can get it on and off that trailer. Now, for the height that we all care about, the dropped height, and man, she looks good. Would have loved to try to get it down a little bit lower, but inner fender wells kind of got in the way. Can't wait for the customer to see this and take it out on the track and beat it up. With everything wrapped up on the car, we're going to let it sit up overnight just to give it one final leak test to make sure there's no small leaks in any of the corners or inside the tank, and it should be good to go for the customer. And like that, the vehicle's done. It's already back in the customer's hands. He's getting it all prepped up to go onto the track. Any questions or comments, please leave them below. Hope you liked the video. If so, give us a big thumbs up and see you on the next video.